What up, my friends? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're doing a Kroger grocery haul. I haven't needed to shop at groceries as often lately. I've been doing a lot of the bulk of my grocery shopping at wholesale clubs because that seems to just be the most cost effective at this point. But I had some specific recipes in mind that you guys saw in my last video. So I ended up ordering Kroger to be delivered to my house. I'm subscribed to the Kroger Boost membership. So if I spend over $35, my delivery is free. There's no additional delivery fees. My favorite part though is that Kroger doesn't mark up the prices. So the amount that you pay in a grocery store for Kroger is the same amount that you would pay on their app. They also make couponing and shopping the weekly ad incredibly simple in the app. And because of the fact that their drivers are actually employed directly through Kroger and they're not a third party, they do not allow tips. I've found shopping on Kroger delivery to be such a game changer when it comes to my grocery budget because I'm not tempted by anything in the store. I can do meal planning really well. I can get on there, check out prices, compare products, things like that, and then have it delivered the very next day. It's just been awesome. And their delivery windows are really, really early and really, really late. So depending on what you need in your life, for me, I try to have them come between the hours of like 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. That way I can get all of like my produce prepped, put away, and all of that even before my kids are awake. It just sets up my day perfectly. So in this video, I'm going to show you everything that I got from Kroger. I'm located in Jacksonville, Florida. I will share all of the prices. That way you can kind of use it as a ballpark for what to expect if you're doing your own grocery planning. I'm also going to be sharing a new favorite dish that we discovered. I don't know what it is, but John and I both have never had butter chicken before. My neighbor slash my friend, her husband ended up making some butter chicken the other night and offered us some leftovers. It was one of the best dishes we've ever had. So I'm taking it on in this video, but I'm doing a Crockpot version because you guys know I love Crockpot. If you're new here, hi, how are you? How's the family? My name is Kate. On this channel, I do a lot of haul videos. So I go to Costco, Trader Joe's, Sam's Club quite a bit. I also love sharing recipe inspiration. So if you're trying to set up your menu for the week, I've got you covered on my channel with plenty of videos for different recipe ideas. If you end up enjoying the vibe while you're here, I'd love it if you subscribe. And without further ado, let's dive into the video. Okay, my friends, we have a rather large Kroger haul. I don't remember the last time I spent this much with the grocery store. I had some very specific recipes in mind this time. I generally try to follow like a shelf cooking idea where I just cook what I already have on hand. But sometimes I like to mix it up and get creative and try out new things. So that's what's happening here. Over here, I grabbed some hoagie rolls. One of the recipes I'm going to be making is like an Italian sausage and pepper situation. John had asked me to grab some of these sliders. These are our favorite Hawaiian sliders. I don't know what it is about these, but we like these better than the King's Hawaiian. And John wanted to make like mini burgers for the kids, so I grabbed that. I also got some peeled garlic. I forgot to grab it at Costco recently. I need to prep a bunch of garlic for myself, some minced garlic, because I'm going to be using a lot of it across a lot of recipes. So I just grabbed that. It's not that bad of a price. Not as good as Costco, but that's okay. I also grabbed a 3-pack of peppers because I'm using that in the sausage and peppers recipe, and then a couple other ones. Grab some baby carrots. We're going to use that in a recipe, but I also like to have it on hand on side for the kids. Probably for a recipe and for the kids, I grabbed a couple things of broccoli, and then I also grabbed a couple things of white onion. I don't actually think I needed this. I think I have plenty of onions, but I was too lazy to go look. Does that ever happen to anybody? It's not like me, but I did it. I also grabbed a butternut squash. I always grab butternut squash because it's my kid's favorite vegetable. So we like to just peel that, dice it up, and cook it in our rice cooker. Just steam it up real simple. They don't even need seasoning or anything. They eat it just as is. So it's really great. For a recipe, I grabbed a couple limes. I also grabbed avocado because I don't like avocado, neither does John. And the kids never really liked it when we were doing, the baby purees and everything. But I figured it wouldn't hurt to try and make some avocado toast or something for them and just reintroduce it and see how they feel about it. With both of their parents not really loving avocado, I doubt they're going to like it, but I like to reintroduce things every so often just to double check. And then over here, I grabbed some crushed tomatoes, some black beans, and some Great Northern beans. These were to replenish my pantry, and a couple of them will be used in recipes. I also grabbed this garam masala. I grabbed a few sweet potatoes. That's for sides for us and also for the kids. Now over here is kind of where we start to get into the bulk of things. I grabbed an orange juice for a recipe, and then I also grabbed this. I'm pretty excited about this. It's a cold foam creamer. It's oat based and it's cinnamon caramel. John has been making me the most delicious lattes in our new Breville barista machine, and I was thinking that would be good to top on it. I also had added a white chocolate macadamia one to my cart, but Kroger was unable to fulfill it. It was out of stock, so I'm kind of bummed about that, but I'm excited to try this one out. I grabbed a huge pork shoulder. That's going to be for a recipe that I'm probably going to split into either 2 or 3. I keep forgetting to get boneless though. This one's bone in. Do they even make boneless pork shoulder? Who knows? Anyways, John asked me also to grab some chicken breast because we do meal prep for the kids. We throw some chicken right in the crock pot with some type of a sauce and just meal prep that for the kids. And then I'm probably going to use a couple of the breasts for the butter chicken recipe. Over here, I also grabbed some, is this skirt steak, I think? Yeah, skirt steak. I've never really bought this before, but one of the recipes that I want to try out needed skirt steak. I grabbed some sweet Italian sausage for that sausage and peppers recipe. I generally like the sweet Italian the most out of the options, so that's why I grabbed that. And then also I grabbed some of this beef stew or stew beef or something, and that's going to be for a recipe as well. So we did pretty good. I mean, for around, I think it was around $100. You guys know the price. I think this is a pretty good spread, especially with all this protein over here. I usually grab my protein at wholesale clubs, but a lot of this was stuff that I don't want to have a wholesale club amount of. So, and actually it was kind of surprising because my wholesale club, the chicken per pound is $2.69. And this one was $2.49. So I thought that was interesting that it ended up being a little cheaper through Kroger. So that's everything I grabbed. All right, guys, let's hop into this easy and delicious butter chicken recipe. I will have it all typed up down below as usual, but let's walk through what I did and make sure to stick around until the end because John joins me for a taste test of it. This first step, I honestly don't even know is necessary, but I went for it anyways. I started by trimming and dicing 2 hefty chicken breasts for myself into little chunks. Then I marinated those in a yogurt mixture. That's the part that I don't know if it's necessary because it's going in the crock pot all day, but I feel like it couldn't hurt. So essentially I just took a cup of yogurt, I used sheep's yogurt, a teaspoon of garam masala, a 1/4 teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder. I probably said that incorrectly, I apologize. 1/2 teaspoon of white pepper, but you could use black pepper instead. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, I used pink Himalayan, and then I just mixed that all together. I put that in the fridge for myself for about an hour, but you could also do that the night before to let it marinate even longer. I came back around an hour later to get the sauce ready for myself, and to make this easy on myself, to make sure it was nice and smooth, I just used my blender. I put a 28-ounce can of peeled tomatoes, a 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes, another teaspoon of the garam masala, 1/2 teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of white pepper. I did about 3 cloves of minced garlic. I also did about a teaspoon of ginger paste and then about a tablespoon of sugar. I do wish that I had increased that a little bit, but blend that up and then taste it at that point because I ended up adding about a 1/2 teaspoon more of the garam masala to give it even more flavor. But you'll want to check your taste preference on that, especially if this isn't something you eat all the time. And then be sure to check for the sugar at that point and that chili powder. If you are like John and you like it spicy, you could add more at this point. But I'm in the camp of you can always add more. You cannot take it out. So I just go a little bit light. And then if someone in your family likes it spicy, they can sprinkle on a little extra when you go to serve it. Once that was all blended, I put it in my crock pot and then just added the diced chicken right to it. I stirred that together until it was well coated, and then I just put 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter as pads throughout the crock pot. I covered that up and cooked it on low for about 4 hours, and then about a half hour before I was going to serve it, I added in about a teaspoon of crushed dried fenugreek leaves. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly either. And then what I did was I made myself a little bit of a cornstarch sauce by just mixing about a tablespoon of cornstarch in 1/3 cup of heavy cream. And I used that just to thicken the sauce a little bit. Once I stirred that in, I let it cook for about a half hour more. We did do a taste test on this one, so let's see what we thought. Okay, friends, we have this steaming plate of delicious here. What had happened was we have somehow, in our entire 38-year journey,
Why would you say that out loud?
I just gotta call it like it is, John. We've never experienced butter chicken. Both John and I.
I never even heard of butter chicken.
You've never even heard of it?
No, the last time I had it was the first time I ever heard of it.
That's wild. So anyways, we've somehow never had butter chicken. But the other night we were like starving and we were actually like so unsure of what to eat. And my neighbor, who is my friend, she texted me and was like, my husband made extra butter chicken that he wants to bless you guys with because I don't eat spicy food. Can I offload it onto you? And I said, certainly. That sounds like a great plan. We're adventurous. We'll try new things. John ended up like loving this butter chicken. He gave it a 9.5. So now I need to know if I could recreate it, because have you ever tried to ask a dude for a recipe? Have you ever tried to do that? Because I asked for this recipe from this man and he sent me a list of 4 things that I needed to purchase. And that was it. That was the only intel I got. Then I saw him, we talked about it, and he told me there's a lot of tomatoes that goes in it. So I know that there's tomatoes, and I knew of the 4 spices that he included it, and then I was on my own from there. So I don't know if I was able to duplicate.
Listen, if anyone could figure it out.
I mean, I was really shooting in the dark here though, John, because we've eaten it all of one time. I don't even know where to begin, but I threw a bunch of things in, made dreams come true. We'll see. We're going to have you try first. You got a fork?
Got a fork.
Gotta be civilized. Can't eat with your hands around here, you know? What's important is we have non-dippers for it, and also white rice. 2 bite minimum. I'm so nervous. I don't want to let him down. We might need to just go knock on our neighbor's door and just demand answers. Am I gonna try it?
Poker face.
Poker face? Oh, I gotta try it?
Poker face.
Okay, I'm nervous. I mean, I've kind of been trying it for seasoning purposes, but not as a whole. It's definitely not the same as the one we had the other day. I feel like his maybe was a little sweeter.
His was spicier.
Yeah, definitely spicier, but I wasn't going down that path today, sir. I could barely eat that one. So if you want to sprinkle some pixie dust, I've got the chili powder that you can add to it.
Got it.
For yours. But flavor wise, outside of not being spicy, I think that's on point.
It's a 9.
It's a 9, so his is a 9.5.
His is a 9.5 because I like the spice. I like
But what
the
about like the underlying flavor though? It's there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
This is fantastic.
It's fantastic. I'd say his is a little sweeter, and I kind of preferred it being sweeter. And I did add some sugar to this, but I feel like I would need to add a little bit more sugar. So maybe if you guys recreate this one, taste it, and then see if you feel like it also needs to go a little sweeter.
It's great.
It's great as is. You wouldn't?
I truly am wholeheartedly telling you, that is fantastic.
Yeah. So honestly,
so
if you just add some chili powder to it, it's gonna be a 9.5.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The only thing it's missing for me is that extra kick of
Got it. Okay.
Spice.
So I made it for other people in mind.
That last one we had, like
it was made for you in mind. Yes,
it
was. It was very difficult for me to eat it. I think I only had like 2 or 3 bites. It was delicious. Don't get me wrong.
It was good.
But it was too hot for me to consume. I made this one a little bit more friendly to mild to medium palates. I'd say it's on the higher end of, like, we're approaching medium territory with this particular recipe.
Okay.
So I would introduce a little at a time if you're not huge into spice.
I feel like if you're not into spice, this is a great
place to start. Yeah, because it's not like hot pepper spice, like, or what is that called? Like hot sauce spice. It's not that. It's more flavorful spice.
Right.
For people who are getting into spice, this would be a good option. I'm going 8.5.
Hey,
but it's a solid 8.5.
That's a
chili tomato based style things. Not my fave, but this is probably one of my favorite things. Like, I would take this over a chili. Yeah, I would even take this over tikka masala.
I feel like this is right there with the tikka masala.
Yeah, it's very similar to tikka masala, but I feel like this is more flavorful.
Yeah.
Tikka masala is more earthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
This has like that earthiness to it, but then an extra layer of flavor. But overall, this is a win. We're gonna get this feedback over to corporate. I hope we delivered everything that you were looking for when you clicked on that thumbnail. And I hope you have a magical day. Bye.